for joining me today. I am going to be doing a quick review for you on the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is a pretty recent launch, and when I say in the last month or so, and I went to Sephora and I heard a lot of things about this. That's why I went to go buy this. I went there specifically for this product, and I chose the color Medium Neutral. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is switch this up a little bit. I want to show you guys the demo first, which is really short because it's just concealer, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the review at the end. So if you want to see how I put this on, then please keep watching. So the reason why I look like this is because I always do my foundation and my eyes before I do my concealer and any other like under eye makeup that I want to do, like with my eyeshadow and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I do this. So it has this applicator, which I really like. It's flat as opposed to rounded. And you saw how much product comes out in here. Like, you won't even need like half of that. So I always go back in here and take out some. And even then, I still have a ton left. So just with one side, because it's flat, I'm going to go ahead and create my little shape. And you guys can see like how creamy that is. And then I just flip the wand over. And with the other side, just create my triangle for my other eye. So I definitely feel like this applicator picks up a lot. It's also really soft because it's not that typical doe foot applicator. And this also bends. Like, if do you see like how it's bending? So I think that goes along all the curves of your face really well. And so now I'm just going to go in my beauty blender. It is damp, as you guys can tell. And I am pulling it downwards as I move. And of course, when you get to these little ridges, make sure you press it in pretty well. Same thing for right here. I am pressing and bouncing. Then when I get closer to the eye, you just have to be a little bit more careful so you don't ruin your eyeshadow. When I get to the side, I like to go in at an angle to keep the shape of my eye. That's also a really great way to clean up any eyeshadow, and that is definitely what I do no matter what eye look I'm going for. And then I always put in my colored corrector right here, but I like to kind of go in with this and just get that corner too, just to add some lightness. Okay, so it has been applied. I'm going to zoom you guys out a bit so you guys can see. It's definitely a good bit lighter. I've applied it. I think it's a little bit more dry in texture than the NARS, so you don't really have to set it, to be honest. It still doesn't crease, which I think is amazing. But if you want to, you can. I'm going to, just because I don't want to set the rest of my face and not set my under eye concealer, because I don't want this to look shiny, the rest of my face to look matte. So I'm going to go ahead and set it, and I will be right back. Alright, so let's get into the facts about this concealer. Fact number one, it is $28. So I have the color Medium. It is a neutral undertone. The reason I say that is because what's really cool about this is that they give you the color name, like say light, medium, dark, deep dark, whatever the name might be, and gives you the undertone underneath it. So mine says Medium Neutral. What I really like about this is that, one, it comes in normal packaging, just like what all concealers these days, you know, tend to come like. It's really pretty Urban Decay packaging, very simple. But let me tell you, I did not expect to like this because of the fact that I didn't like the Naked Skin foundation. So I really didn't think that this was going to be amazing, but I had heard good things about it. So it is a normal twist off cap, but the best part about this, in my opinion, is the applicator. The applicator is not a normal doe foot applicator. It is actually flat. If you guys can see, it's really flat actually, and it maneuvers. Like, you'll see in my demo that this moves, like it's something that you can press and sort of move up and down. It's not stiff, so that's really nice. Also, this applicator picks up a lot, so I wipe it off before I use it, and I wipe it off on both sides, and even then there's a ton of product left to go around. So what I go ahead and do is that I use one side of it for one eye, flip it over, use the other side for the other eye. What I really love about this is that it doesn't crease. This is the second concealer that I've ever found in my entire life that does not crease. My first one is the MAC Pro Longwear that you guys know. And that's amazing. So what I'm really liking and how I like to use this is that I got a really light, bright color. As you guys can see right now, I'm wearing this. And basically I got this, and it's going to replace my NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer because of the fact that if you guys have watched my recent videos, you know that right now I've been using my Pro Longwear because it lasts on me and it stays on. And then I use my NARS one to brighten and to highlight under the eyes. Because this is so creamy and because it's so thick, or whatever you might want to call it, it tends to crease. So to avoid that, that's why I use this on top of the Pro Longwear. But since this doesn't crease, I can just go in with a lighter, brighter color to begin with, as opposed to layering two colors because this doesn't crease. So that has been amazing. That's like my biggest thing, and I see this replacing my NARS, to be honest. So I wanted to show you guys the consistency of this. So I'm wiping off the excess. That is what it looks like. It is still extremely creamy, but it's much thinner to me in formulation than the NARS, but still it covers really, really well. So I think that it's kind of, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you want something that covers and is lightweight, you know? And it is also doing that whole weightless thing that every company is, you know, claiming to do right now, like a weightless formulation, and it really does feel weightless, to be honest. Here is the NARS. That is what the NARS looks like. The NARS one is this one right here. So you can tell the NARS is a little bit lighter and the undertone is definitely different. You can tell that my Urban Decay one is definitely neutral because it's not so pink or not so yellow. Lastly is my MAC right here, which is right there. So the difference in texture between these three, I would say the MAC is definitely the lightest, as you guys can tell. It's like a drop that is going to continue down my hand. The NARS right here is the thickest one, and the Urban Decay right here is in between. Let me show you what each of these look like when I move them. So the Urban Decay looks like that when I actually swatch it. It's much, much lighter and more emollient for sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the NARS. That is a lot thicker, but I honestly feel like it covers about the same, but it's definitely much creamier. Like, this reminds me closer to a cream foundation than a concealer. And then here is the MAC, which is like butter. So I really actually think that when I'm doing this, the NARS and the Urban Decay seem pretty close in terms of formulation, but the MAC is definitely creamier. I mean, more liquidy, as you guys can see. Also, in terms of texture, the MAC is very shiny because it is so thin, and you guys can see that it's much more liquid. It looks much more like water. See? You guys can see that, so you'd have to rub that in a lot more. The NARS is definitely the most opaque, I think, and the one that seems the most matte, and then the Urban Decay is the one that's in between. So texture-wise, definitely different than the rest as well. So what I really like about this is that it's creaseless. I think that this undertone works really well for me, and it also really, really brightens. That's awesome. And it covers really well too. I don't have like crazy dark circles, I will say that. I use it more as a highlighter, but I like the fact that this is also a concealer as opposed to me having to use two different products. So I love that. Only problem that I can see is that they only have 8 colors. I personally feel like you can definitely find something in your range there. Because concealer, I think, can definitely sort of be worked on if it's not the exact color that you want. Because when you set this, you can definitely set it with a banana powder or a powder that will sort of mitigate if it's a little bit darker or lighter to make it work for you. So I really, really love this. The applicator sets this apart from anything else that I've used for sure. And I think that they did a great job with it. I believe there is some Chanel product that has an applicator like this, but I really think that all concealers now should have this sort of applicator. And these are both, the NARS is 0.2 ounces, and this is 0.16 fluid ounces. It's actually a little bit smaller than the NARS. This is $28, the NARS is $29, and the MAC, I want to say, is like $22 maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and put the price here in case I'm not correct, but I will say that I wish the price was a little bit less because this is pretty expensive for a concealer. especially since it is quite a bit less than my NARS as well in terms of the amount that you get. The MAC one is 30 or 0.30 fluid ounces, which is the most out of all of them, even though it's this tiniest little package right here. So that's something to think about, but I definitely think that if you guys are looking for a concealer and have kind of been doing what I've been doing, which is layering to get the same look, try this out. You might really like it. If you guys want to see pictures of this and flash photography and all that kind of stuff on my blog, go ahead and check that out. I also have swatches and things of that nature there too. It is artistry.bymegha.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and demo. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope I see you guys back on my channel very soon.